Avoiding these top 5 mistakes is what's allowed me to generate 90+ thousand leads. And if you avoid them, you'll be able to generate leads at a reasonable price as well. Make sure to stick around to the end. There's some juicy bonuses as we go through the video. Let's get started. So first things first, we're going to talk about the first mistake that people make is they allow people to see too many listings on their website. So what I'm going to show you is an example of how this, what we call forced capture, works. So they land on a real estate listing website like this. They see listings and they go, oh, I want to see this one. And what it does is it pops open to the listing, and then a forced capture is going to pop up on the first listing view as the recommendation. So this is what I do. This is what all the CRMs do usually as a default for the most part. And what often people will do is they'll choose 2, 3, 4 listing views, or they'll choose browsing time, how long they can be on the site. This causes a massive reduction in lead flow and your cost per lead to go way up. So I'll go into Lofty and I'll show you the settings real quick. So if we go into the CMS here, so basically in Lofty, what you do is you'd click website, choose the appropriate website. And then when you go into that website, you're going to scroll down in Lofty to lead capture where it says registration pop-up trigger. Typically the default will be something like this, which is custom. So it says trigger listing registration on detail pages, meaning when they view a listing like I just showed you. And then it says trigger registration based on browsing time for 10 seconds. This is a bad setting. I'm not sure why this sometimes defaults in Lofty. What you want to do is you want to click highest conversion. What it's going to do is it's going to trigger that pop-up that I just showed you immediately when they view the first listing view, meaning they can't view multiple properties. They have to actually put their information in to view that first listing and any subsequent listings. This will maximize the conversion for sure. So definitely do that, click save, and then we're off to the races. And that is the first mistake to avoid. The second mistake to avoid is what we call using a vanity domain over using a generic domain. So let me give you an example. So right here is a website. This isn't a real website. I don't want to shame anybody, but it's called localrealestateteam.com. It's a really good example of what you'll see, what we call vanity domains. My first domain I ever did was actually coreyprince.com and coreyprince.ca. I figured I wanted to get my name out there and build the brand. The reality is people don't know who you are. They're not going to know what the brand is. They're going to look for something that's got more credibility or something more generic. So if you look at my main real estate website, it's searchonlinelistings.ca, and that's done totally intentionally. The reason I do that is when you put an ad up or you advertise a particular domain somewhere and it has real estate team or first and last name, that person feels like, oh, now I maybe have to commit to this person, when all they really want to do is maybe get the value of their property or go view some listings. So the generic demand or this generic domain is a huge difference. If you click below, there's actually a video, a YouTube video that I created that shows the data behind this. Generic domain versus a vanity domain, the average cost per lead is 5 times more in my experience over a 15-year career with a vanity domain versus a generic domain. So keep that in mind. If you want to pay 5 times as much per lead, then go the vanity domain route. If you want to pay a 1/5 the cost per lead, which is a massive advantage, then go ahead and do that. So that is point number 2, mistake number 2. Mistake number 3 is not including sold listings on your website. So I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. In Lofty, if you go into the CMS like I showed you before, and you click on search your particular site that you're looking for, this is where you actually add the MLS. So I've got a number of MLSs on this particular website. What you're going to want to look for is VOW feeds first. Traditionally, VOW or virtual office websites are going to have sold listings on them. Some IDX will actually have sold listings in the States. In Canada, I don't really see it very often, but in the States, sometimes they do. You want to have sold listings. And the reason you want to have sold listings is it's a really good conversation starter. If you're qualifying somebody and they're not ready to sell yet or not ready to buy yet, you can offer them sold listings of when their neighbors' houses sell in that particular area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a specific lead here. These are some leads on my particular website. I've got about 91,575 leads. This one signed up 28 minutes ago. We're going to click on it. We're going to assume that I just had like a really great conversation with this particular customer, but they're not ready to buy or not ready to sell yet. So what I would do is I would usually offer, as a way to make sure that I can keep in contact with them, sold prices in their area. So if you click on engagement, and then you click on Market Snapshot. This is how you give them sold listings. So click on here. My site automatically will create these for people when they first sign up based on where they're looking. So this one's looking in New York. I'm going to X out the zip code. This is the price range that they've been looking at. And if you see, there's 598 results there. So if I knew this particular customer, I just talked to them and they're not ready, but I said, okay, let me keep an eye on, what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on the sold listings for you. A lot of my customers, a lot of my clients like that. Would you like it weekly, bi-weekly? What would you like? And they'll tell me what they want. Put the criteria in here, click next, name it with some sort of alert name it with some sort of subject. And then what you'll do is you can go to search frequency or email frequency. So instantly probably doesn't make sense for sold listings unless somebody's actively looking and they're going to be purchasing quite soon and they'll want to know exactly every sale. Weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly makes a lot of sense. And then they will get this particular report from you as like a summary. Once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week, whatever makes sense. And then it's you nurturing them with really valuable stuff that they often can't find on their own. This is something I see a lot of people not add to their real estate websites and to their CRM. And if you just put a little extra work to make sure you have a data feed that has sold listings, you're going to have much more retention. You're going to convert a higher percentage of those leads. So the next mistake people make, which is number 4, is not calling leads within 5 minutes. So let's jump into a Harvard Business Review study. So this was done a number of years ago, and it's really ironic because the data that they show and the results they show on this completely aligns and matches up with my entire 15-year career doing Google Ads and doing real estate leads for my company. So they did 3 years worth of data, 15,000 unique leads, and 100,000 call attempts. So there's a couple points in here, but the one we're going to focus on is response time. So right here, response time, we're going to zoom in. Number 3, so contacts made from first dials. So if you look at the very top here, it says best time to respond is within 5 minutes. There's a 10-time decrease after the first 5 minutes. So on the right-hand side over here, it says 5 minutes versus 10 minutes. A 400% decrease in the odds of qualifying a lead if you call 10 minutes as opposed to within the first 5 minutes. So response time is the moment an interested lead completes a web form until a sales representative contacts them. So contact and qualification rates drop dramatically in just minutes and continue to decrease over the next few hours. So I've experienced this. I've seen this time and time again. The reason being is when you call them within those first 5 minutes, they're actually on the website looking at listings. So you can say, hey, it's Corey from XYZ Realty. They're like, oh, I'm on your website. And you're like, oh, great. Let me show you how to get the most out of it. Let me show you how to set up a search. Let me show you how to set up sold search. In this qualification, this like courtesy call, you can basically find out if they're a seller as well, maybe get a listing appointment, offer things of value that are really, really powerful for them. And what I like to do when I have a good call like that within those first 5 minutes is send a bomb video integrated within the system that just goes over and it says, hey, John, so great to talk to you. Just wanted for you to put a face to the name and the voice. Here's what I've done for you, and then do something a little bit extra, maybe showing them sold listings in a particular area where they're going to sell or where they're going to buy, something that other people aren't going to do, so they differentiate you from those other agents. So that is point number 4. Point number 5 is after you put in all the effort to call and text these customers multiple times, but they're just not ready to buy yet. People let it slip between the cracks, and what they do is they just wait for this person to contact them. The reality is they're busy. They have a life just like you and I do. So they often will just go to the next agent in an open house or the next real estate website that they sign up on. So we need to have a fail-safe that prevents these people from slipping between the cracks. So these are smart plans in Lofty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in Lofty under marketing and then under smart plans. These are the core 6 smart plans that I use. If you would like these smart plans installed into your Lofty, there'll be a link below just to complete a simple form. My people at Lofty will actually install them into your Lofty account, and then there'll be a little YouTube video that I'd share with you that shows you how to adjust them and edit them for your purposes. So I'll break down each individual one just so you know how they're triggered and what they mean. So this one is triggered when somebody returns to the website after 7 days of absence. And what happens is they get An email, they get 2 emails. So they get a welcome back email, and then they get a auto email that says, did your timeline change? Trying to engage them, trying to get them to respond back to you. Next up is when they leave a message or request a showing on your site. This is when they're in specific pipelines. So I do it for new leads, nurture, if they're closed past clients, as well as if they said they had an agent. I still want these automations to go out in those cases. So it goes out as an auto text. It says, hey, first name, I received your request. Would you like to see it? Just trying to get them to respond back and engage with the team. And then about 3 minutes later, they get an email that goes out breaking down how everything works. So that is number 2. Number 3 is website behavior when they save a listing for the very first time. So they're looking on the site, they see one that they're like, oh, their husband or wife might like as well, and they save it. So this is a really good buying signal. In this particular case, it only happens when they're in specific pipelines, just like that previous one. And what happens is they're going to get a sequence, which is just this one is just a single auto text, trying to get them to respond back to you. Of course, you're going to call them, you're going to email them, you're going to do all of that. But this one just gets them to respond. So if they request that showing or ask a question about a property, and then this goes out and they reply back to the text, now you know what that phone call is going to be about. Maybe they do want to see it for sure, or maybe they wanted to know if the bathroom up here was on the 2nd level or the 1st level or something like that. So that is smart plan number 3. Number 4 is when they view one listing multiple times, so 3+ times, the first time they ever do it. This is a really, really good behavioral buying signal as well. And it's only applicable when they're in these specific pipeline stages, because they don't want it to be for people that are in do not call and things like that, of course. So the sequence that goes out for this is one email that has this. So this is a very, very good one as well. Basically, all of these are built to try to get them to respond and engage with you. You and your team, or you, if you're a solo agent, are going to call these people and they're going to get them on the phone. But we want this automation to be a fail-safe in case you're like in a listing appointment, negotiating a deal, something like that. So when you come back, your phone just has multiple people ready to talk to you when you call back. So that was that one. The second last one is kind of the heavy lift, the big one. This one is when they get put into qualify, nurture, or has agent pipeline, and it's 1,301 days. This is what we call the long-term buyer smart plan. So 24 steps. It starts out with what I think is a really clever email that I developed maybe about 13 or 14 years ago. The subject line is continue sending listings. So it basically softly threatens to turn off their listing alerts if they don't respond to you. Which is awesome, because a big portion of people respond to this email saying, yeah, we're looking in XYZ, or we're thinking of selling, or whatever it is. And then you can just pick up the phone, reply back, and actually get some engagement there and nurture them long-term. But it goes through just a quick check-in, how I work, referrals, home buying timeline, timing the market, future home. All of these are written generically so that when they're installed into your Lofty, you don't have to edit them at all. They're completely generic. They work in Canada and the US. And then your name in the signature and everything will just be right here. And then it will merge field in the lead's first name. So everything just works really, really well. The last one is somebody who registers on the website, disappears, and then after 30 days of absence, they come back. So this is somebody who it looks like they're re-engaged and they're back to the site and they're ready to rock and roll. And what it does is it just sends a simple email, says, sorry, we haven't been able to connect about your home search. I found a few homes that are similar to what you're looking for. Let me know if you're still interested. And the whole point of these nurture sequences is to not have people fall between the cracks, and to create a follow-up list when you're doing your prospecting, ideally in the morning, every morning, that are just a list of people that are like, have gotten to you, and you just need to respond to them and engage with them. And most likely the best scenario is going to be to physically call them, get them on the phone and qualify them and figure out how to help them best. So those are the top 6 smart plans that I use. Like I said, if you would like them, click below. There's a little link where you can submit a form, and then we can actually put them into your account for you. These top 5 mistakes that I've made, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of agents do them and continue to do them, even though I've said, hey, do this instead. If you want the kind of results that I've gotten, go ahead and follow this process. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.